Hi, and welcome to or back to my channel. I'm Kit, and today we're going to respond to fans of Loeppkys Life. Before we dive into it, Emily would like to thank my patrons and YouTube members. In January, I posted a video about the red flags in one of Loeppkys Life wife chat videos. The response I received was surprising, and yet I also think I should have expected it. After all, she has over 300,000 subscribers, but this video has been in my top videos every day since it was published. I didn't think it would get that much attention, but hey, views are everything on YouTube, so I'm not going to complain. Of course, with views come people who have different opinions or different interpretations, and that is what we're going to look at today. Before we begin, I just want to say that I don't hold Delilah responsible for these commenters, and I understand that parasocial relationships are, well, they exist. First up, someone who made a numbered list about how wrong I am, and I have to say they're assuming a lot about Delilah's life from her social media. I suppose you could say I did the same, but I was taking her at her literal word, and when I do commentary on these sorts of channels, I think about how I would have understood these videos as a teenager and young adult when nuance and relationship dynamics were new and unknown concepts to me. That being said, I don't really care about points 1 through 5, it's the 6th and her add-on that stood out to me.
I'm leaving now because there's just so much taking her statements in bad faith and deliberately imposing your narrative on her life, which is creepy and weird. Who are you to judge or evaluate someone's beliefs about marriage while you're a self-professed spinster? How are you even going to have a reasonable discussion about someone's life and marriage when you don't even share the most foundational beliefs? Oh my gosh, I can't. Get a life, please. Also, I think it's obvious you haven't seen any interactions with her and Zach. They are so sweet and seem genuinely happy together. Their children don't act like they're living in an unhealthy home where their mother isn't respected or has no power. Like I just can't, lol.
Out of curiosity, are commentary channels creepy and weird in general, or is it just when they do commentary on someone you like? Anyway, my video was pointing out the red flags and the advice Delilah was giving. And again, advice Delilah was giving. Yes, people did ask for this advice, but I saw red flags in it, so I made a video about it. I was not attempting to tell her that she's miserable or that she needs to rethink her life or insinuate that her kids were unhappy or whatever this person thinks I was doing. I was simply disagreeing with her advice as she presented it. I was not looking for deeper meanings or trying to get at what she really meant. I took her at her word because that's all I have to go off of. If she wanted her advice to be taken in a different way, she should have worded it differently. And for the record, I think it's creepy and weird that someone online thinks they can deduce the happiness of an internet stranger and their family by watching their social media. It's social media. You see what they want you to see. I would also like to note that disagreeing with someone's advice is not imposing a narrative on their life, and I have no desire to discuss a stranger's life or marriage. I have to admit I haven't looked at Delilah's socials because it's not about her. It's about the advice she was giving.
I can't say I am surprised that someone would creepily and out of context take the time to pick apart a beautiful channel. This video is disheartening and negative. What is society coming to?
I don't know about society, but someone needs to explain to me how a single video about a single video is picking apart a channel. What was taken out of context? People asked for advice, and she gave it. I'm including this next comment for a little WTF-ery.
First, you don't have to comment after every sentence. Second, I want a submissive girl. I own my house, party all bills, and pay for vacations and big things. So if you want to hang out with me, I want no arguing. None. I want respect. I want dinner cooked, house cleaned, and sex. In the long term, it is petty. Next week, next month, you'll forget about it. I respect your point of view, whether in the household or professionally, or for plans for the weekend or dinner, but overall, I make final decision. I pay for the dinner or the weekend or the investment, and every time I do, 99% of girls like my decision. I am not selfish, and in everything I do, I think, will she like this? And sometimes I do things that I will know I hate, but I know she has wanted this for a long time, and we do it. It is really funny when I do what the girl wants, whether it is going to a restaurant she heard of or a movie, and we walk out like, that sucked. It's funny you're contradicting this happily married woman who is raising her baby from home, enjoying shopping and vacations and good sex while you're playing with your cats. Hanging out with me is not a partnership. If you pay half the bills and for half the vacation and dinner expenses, maybe we can do the partnership. But I'm really good right now and didn't need to talk to anybody about what to do, so I look for girls who enjoy hanging out with me and letting me lead. Again, most of my plans primarily include, will she have fun doing this?
I mean, who wouldn't have fun having sex on demand? Anyway, it occurs to me that perhaps these men feel powerless in their life, and that's why they take to the idea that women should be submissive. Then they can have control over something in a world where most most things feel out of our control. And this picture is from my trip to San Francisco last year, but single women don't take vacations. Nor do we shop or have good sex, apparently. I have to admit, I didn't expect this sort of comment from a LoeppkysLife fan. I feel pretty sure she wouldn't be in favor of premarital sex or partying, but part of me suspects they were only here because there are some men and boys who hear about submissive women and they just lose their heads. I did ask how old they are, but I haven't received a response. My guess is 15. And yes, I do have to add commentary to my commentary videos, and no, it wasn't after every sentence. Pro tip, if you don't like commentary videos, don't watch them. Regardless of how you feel about a video, the creator is still being paid, and commenting actually helps the video in the algorithm.
Stop spending your life hating on women who have traditional values that raise children who become strong adults. Those are the marriages that last. Period.
And out of genuine interest, I did ask for an example of what I said that was hateful because I actually do not want to make hateful videos, and their response was,
"Your entire video is rooted in anger, hate, and judgment without explicitly saying it."
And that was not a very helpful response. So basically, they just pulled that out of their rear. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you can disagree with someone without hating them. Also, my reaction to Delilah's advice was not anger. It was befuddlement, to be honest, and then some quiet alarm. As for judgment, yes, I am judging Delilah for thinking this was good advice to give to her large audience. But if that's how she wants to live, well, it's her life. If that's what passes for anger, hate, and judgment these days, what is society coming to indeed?
Okay, you saying that someone who loves you should not want you to submit is just wrong. It literally says in the Bible, wives, submit to your husbands. So don't say that she can't follow what her belief system says to follow. It's disgusting that you feel the need to come online and just tell people how unhealthy her view is toward marriage. If you are not a Christian, then you wouldn't understand. And if you are a Christian, then you need to read your Bible because the things she is saying are completely biblical. You are taking her words out of context and not even hearing what she has to say.
I did hear what she has to say. That's why I made the video. And again, she was giving advice. There is no missing context. She said what she said. I would also like to add that Delilah doesn't brand herself as a Christian channel or creator. And in the beginning of that video, she stated that the world had twisted marriage into something it wasn't meant to be. And at the end, she suggested that we give her advice a try, even if we think it sounds crazy. So no, she's not just giving advice to fellow Christians. And nowhere in that video or in any other have I ever suggested that someone should be forbidden from practicing their religion of choice.
I love how the caption in your description is, "Do not bully or harass." Yet you feel you have any right to make comments or have any opinions on someone else's relationship that is not yours just for content. Mind your business, don't take what people say out of context. Everyone who watches her videos understands what she means. It may not work for everyone, but their relationship has nothing but love and compassion for one another. This kind of content where you pick people apart is awful.
I'm just going to have a quiet laugh that I'm getting these comments, while folks like Think Before You Sleep are actually out there stating outlandish theories about other people's mental health as fact, and no one thinks twice. Anyway, I want to be quite clear. I do not care about Delilah's relationships. I hope she's happy, I hope she's safe, and that is the extent of my concern. I do not know her, and it is none of my business. I don't like to be harsh, but just how dense do you have to be to think I'm talking about her marriage and not the advice she was giving? Or did these people not even bother watching the video and decided to just assume? So does that mean that when someone does commentary on my videos, I'm being bullied and or harassed? That's not how this works. And if this person had actually watched the video, they would have known I wasn't commenting or opining on her relationship, just the advice she was giving. I am loving all the "you're taking her out of context" though. She's giving advice to questions she's literally putting on the screen. There is no missing context, however much you might wish it. And to be honest, I don't really understand it because I can't think of any context that would make her advice better.
I'm just wondering why on earth you would choose to create content by criticizing other human beings. What gives you the urge to disrespect others and literally pick on someone who obviously is a human with one big heart? I feel sorry for you losing your precious time making these types of videos. Respect and you'll be respected.
And again, if this person had actually watched the video, they would know I was discussing Delilah's advice, not Delilah herself or her relationships. Unlike some folks, I'm not going to pretend I know anything about her marriage. And it's not disrespectful to disagree with someone, nor is it a bad thing to question and critique bad advice, harmful beliefs, and so on. This next comment I'm still puzzling over.
I just want to give you friendly advice. Stop living other people's lives and learn to live your own.
Let's end on a high note.
Hi. You know, I like the ideas you concluded your video with. They're quite reasonable. However, if a woman wanted to keep a man, those ideas aren't the best in my opinion, especially to keep a high-value man, or at least the man most women want. Somehow, I get a vibe from your ideas that suggest that being agreeable is bad, but is it though? Don't you think being disagreeable will chase anyone away? Friends, relatives, spouse, especially men of high value?
If you think you are the problem in your relationship, go to therapy. Learn effective communication skills. Learn where all the anger and hurt is coming from. If you can't go to therapy, search for books or videos that can help with the issues you've identified. But don't just withdraw and decide it's not your place to say anything to your husband when you disagree with him.
I did ask what better ideas they had, but I've received no response for some reason. Don't you think being disagreeable will chase anyone away is a superfluous question? Of course it will, but your options are not only be disagreeable or be a doormat. However, my ideas would take work, so I guess that's why they were not the best. And also, keeping a man isn't the end-all be-all, high value or otherwise. And by the way, a person who is truly high value will never refer to themselves as such. I just got this one, so I thought I would include it for fun, you know.
Feminism has ruined everything. It's all biblical what Delilah is saying. You can listen to the book Kingdom Marriage if you don't get it, shaking my head.
If you want to rely on a man to support you through your life, you can still do that. You can still live out your submissive biblical wife fantasies if that's what you want. And on that note, conservative wives must be submissive Christians do not have a lock on Christianity. There are plenty of religious folks who would disagree with Delilah. I have to admit, that was a more eclectic group than I had thought would be drawn to that video, but really, at the end of the day, I think some men just want a submissive wife. They have some vision of every meal prepared to their liking, sex whenever they want it, children for their legacy that they don't have to bother with much, and a wife who has to do as they say because he's the head of the household and she can't complain because that would be nagging. It's a little worrisome how so many people, especially presumed adults, think what they see on social media is real. Delilah's bread and butter is her happy family. Do you really think she's going to show you the unhappy parts? You might think you're friends because of that parasocial relationship, but you aren't. You don't actually know her or her family. You know what she presents to social media. And that's fine. It's understandable to not want to air dirty laundry to the world, but it's important to keep that in mind whenever you're scrolling through someone's Instagram or watching a lifestyle video. You see what they want you to see, and I also think you see what you're primed to think you should see. I've said this before, but it bears repeating. When I make my commentary videos, my hope isn't that the subject sees them and realizes how wrong they are. I do not have that kind of power. And I also want to note that when Classically Abby, Rebecca Barrett, Elliot Halls, Paula Morgan, whoever makes videos, they're offering their opinions, though some of them might be more inclined to think they're offering the gospel truth. And if I disagree with their opinions enough, I make a video of my own to comment on theirs. That is how commentary YouTube works, and if you don't like it, that's fine, but it's not as though it's a secret that this is a commentary channel. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.